It was 1985. HIV was running rampant. It was the first pandemic most of us had come to know. It was having a devastating toll on certain at-risk populations, and no one wanted to talk about it. Reached out to Annie Leibovitz and asked her if she would work with me on this campaign. We decided to focus on the two least stigmatized populations. One is women and all children, and make the statement, the need to, in the future of that next generation and beyond, they need to talk about what no one was talking about. So the underlying and the overriding message is to humanize a problem and create emotional relationship to it, and invite people to join in the conversation. And that's how you fight stigma. It was 1987, and AIDS was growing exponentially. We didn't know how to cure it, but we knew how to contain it. It was about safe sex and clean needles. The problem is it was illegal to advertise condoms specifically. So we took a photograph of a condom, airbrushed off all the relationships, what was in it, assuming and presuming that people would know what that was, with the message, our shoes aren't the only thing we encourage you to wear. And I do believe that talking about sensitive issues sometimes makes it easier for other people to do the same, and especially at critical moments in time where our individual and our global well-being is so at risk. It was 1992, and there was a crisis in this country, one that people had not wanted to acknowledge before, and it was homelessness. It was a population that no one wanted to address. So we ran an ad, and we say, unfortunately, too many people would love to be in your shoes. Bring in a pair that you don't wear anymore for somebody that will, and we'll give you a discount on a new pair. It was a unique opportunity to address needs that I felt one business and one community-based, in a way where they are mutually interdependent, and I do believe very often in business, they are the proverbial hand that feeds each other. It was an opportunity that changed us, and over the next 15 or so years, we collected over 2 million pair of shoes, and we made them available for populations in need wherever we could find them. So in 1996, HIV was continuing to grow exponentially, but the real problem was it fell off of the headlines, and people were tired of hearing about it, reading about it. Their quotient for empathy was being worn away, and they didn't think it was their problem. So we did a hypothetical campaign that focused on the people in your life that you presumed were not at risk. I showed the campaign that we were going to run, as we always did, and then I showed the ad that we were not going to run, and it was specifically stated as such. And needless to say, that was the one that was covered in all the tabloids the following morning. I guess the takeaway is that sometimes it's not just what you do, but how you do it, and it's not just what you say, but how you say it. And I also think that sometimes what you don't say is even more powerful than what you do. It was 2004, it was an election year, and we were observing all these important social issues being politicized, as they always are and they always had been. One of which was the notion of same-sex marriage. And I had never understood why two people can't express their relationship in terms that they find appropriate, and why there's a greater force that sits in judgment of that. So we ran a campaign. We started running a series of ads over the next few years. We ignored the dissenters, followed our hearts, did what we felt and believed was right. We were recognized for having done so, but that's just a bonus. But I do believe that these critical social issues are in fact human issues. They're not political issues, and they are moments in time where we can do what we think is right, and our voices are a lot more likely to be heard as a result thereof. So this campaign, We All Have AIDS, brings back a lot of memories. And reflecting back to this moment in time, 2005, everybody with the biggest of heart's best of intentions was invariably tripping over each other. But this effort, this message brought everybody together. It was about stigma. And the notion was that we all have AIDS. Some physically, some diagnostically, some emotionally, some socially, but we all have AIDS. And if you're not infected, you're affected, and if it exists anywhere, it essentially exists everywhere. That was the concept. And I got together with Mark Seliger. We traveled around the world. I photographed all these individuals. And I do believe that we reached over 1 billion people, and this was before social media. We were able to touch people in a profound way at a very meaningful moment. And I do think reignited a global conversation that was so needed at that moment in time.